Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another wondrous Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. We'll be having a 2 vs 2 for once here on Simoski Winter. Yes, a 2 vs 2. So we'll of course have to see how that one turns out. Whoops, hiccups. But unfortunately that we'll be watching Qvazar and Tezting fighting for Deutschland. For Deutschland and the 5th SS Panzerdivision Viking going up against Suicideme and Sheepeh fighting for the Soviet Union. And the 4th Mechanized Corps. Plenty of conscripts on the way here. Doctrines are joint operations, Festung support, Jäger armor for Tezting. For Qvazar it's Festung armor, Festung support and joint operations. There seems to be some things that rather coincide there. Sheepeh with guard rifle, defensive tactics and shock rifle, and Suicideme with Soviet combined arms, shock motor and shock rifle. So that's definitely a bit of variety there on the Soviet side, less so on the German side. There's in fact an awful lot of overlapping. You're noting there 2 pioneers for Tezting, MG mortar, no infantry so far whatsoever. That's a bit dangerous. Heading towards the village centre. Hopefully get some infantry soon. Plenty of infantry on the other hand for Qvazar. Getting at some MG42s, there we go, the Granatenwerfer heading in towards the village centre, immediately encountering a serious amount of Soviet infantry. MG42 will have to set up to cover this area rather quickly. Need to stop moving. Tezting, you can't advance that far, you know there's a large throng of angry Soviet infantrymen ahead. Pulling out apparently to cover that. MG42 moving up from Qvazar. Troops engaging down here. Comrades, conscripts moving in. Grenadiers being caught out in the open. MG42 sending up here. Conscripts running away. Heading up here towards the fuel point. Shifting path. Perhaps expecting major resistance from the fascists here. Conscripts engaging Grenadiers down here. Grenadiers going caught out in the open. They need to get into cover. And Deckung. And they go rushing towards heavy combat at the same time. Getting shot at from the side. Conscripts rushing in. This is not looking good here for Qvazar. This could look to be a rather unfortunate engagement. Conscripts suppressed. But we're seeing another squad moving in. Flanking force in the mortar. The MG42 moving in down to support the first unit. Mortar bringing down on the comms. There we go. Molotovs forcing Qvazar to completely fall back from here. This is not very good. German start here. MG42 didn't have to cover versus here, but the conscript already made it past it. Again, the lack of infantry is really hurting Tezting. Why he doesn't have any infantry is beyond me. It is really one of the ground rules of any sort of decent warfare to actually have some bloody infantry and not just support units with nothing to support, really. But Qvazar, though, pushing forward with more gunners. Again, he just suffered quite the setback as well. He's got one MG42 which also got overwhelmed by conscripts. Not really looking good at all. Again, the lack of infantry really overall limiting what they can do here. Compared to the amount of infantry the Soviets can level against them, again, overall gaining a more varied and more powerful force ultimately. Despite perhaps I'm not having a lot of machine guns, they can lay down a lot of fire, but even then they can easily outmaneuver them and overwhelm them. Another Molotov. Lots of Molotovs, comrades. So roll a pretty harsh start here for Deutschland. Not looking good at all. Countries there getting shredded in the open. MG42 will need to retreat in the face of this. Burned up alive, rather unfortunate. Qvazar once more pushing ahead with the infantry. The MG42 in a smouldering mess. And watch this. Another Molotov on the MG42 to continually deny it to the Germans by the looks of it. MG42 setting up here. Conscripts pulling back in time, that is good. Overall, though, the Soviets have managed to gain map dominance, more or less. The only thing that really haven't done it with it is actually sort of further enforce their positions by actually mining as an example. No, but while others really haven't, reinforced the position and prepared for a German counterattack, which could definitely be something the Germans might take advantage of. Finally getting some infantry up here for Tezting, though Panzer Grenadiers rather more expensive as an option. Better than nothing. We'll of course have to see how he pulls through with his Panzer Grenadier. over there, getting dropped down the conscripts. Molotov goes off, waiting up for force to arrive, and looks like Sheepeh has gone for defensive doctrine. The Dushka rolls up and sets up and fires away with its 50 caliber rounds. Grenadiers forced away. Serious firepower arriving. German mortars bombarding away as well. The Granatenwerfer and the front, and over to Qvazar, who's actually rather low in infantry again, because probably his infantry had to do most of the work for some time, which overall again leaves most of the pressure onto him. And again, overall, as you might have noticed, the lack of infantry, in fact, leaving most of the infantry work to Qvazar's overall cost the Germans initially a lot of territory, and again, that's usually why I don't do that. Also, that was a bit silly, throwing a Molotov, then running into the house. You know, I think we might have lit that house on fire, comrades. Let's move elsewhere. German mortars seem to be doing alright. MG42 coming up. Panzer is finally arriving, meaning Tezting can finally apply some pressure again and finally begin pulling his part of the weight. Panzers have to be short flank, but ultimately can't, because there's a Dushka covering the Soviet advancing, showing they themselves don't get counter-flanked. Shock troopers moving in as well here from Suicideme. Grenade going off, and oh, that MG42 might go down to those vicious, nasty shock troopers.
We are ready.
Perhaps trying here to draw away some of the Russian attackers towards some of their own territory, opening up for an attack here. We are seeing the Dushka setting up to engage the Grenadiers here, although the Dushka is rather low in health. Making a rush for the church. Can the Grenadiers make it? Just, oh, Heinz didn't make it. No sanctuary for him. Down to 2 men, low on health, not looking good for Qvazar there. More Grenadiers are on the way. Also, he's flooding quite a bit of resources. Fresh counter-attack sending in. Some light machine guns might be an idea for Qvazar here against the Russian hordes. But looks like they've somehow managed to stabilize things for now. And looks like, there we go, Sheepeh was quick to merge with his Dushka and get it reinforced the front line action again without having to pull it back. Well played there. But ultimately, there's a small chance he might get overwhelmed or simply hit by the mortar out there on the ice. Very close to between 2, by the way, that's lovely. That will definitely improve it, and so far, I mean, this mortar is really working out well for him, and overall has been a good choice. Also, testing, why do you have to test my patience? I mean, there's not really any reason to worry about any early arm, and ultimately Panzers wouldn't really been a good option either way. And again, you need infantry. Just get some regular Panzer Grenadiers. And don't immediately equip them with Punchers Rex, please. Rifleman is there, pushing back the Soviet infantry just a bit. More mortar rounds going down. The MG42 holding out a bit of the Russian infantry, ensuring they can't quite get to the fuel point. Fuel point up here being secured. But quick counter attack again. The lack of infantry is really hurting the Germans. Pack 40 moving out. MG42 here could stand to move a bit further to support the frontline units, not holding back so much. Conscripts there pushed back with heavy casualties. And looks like the cemetery position is forced to collapse as well. One part pulling back, the other one charging in. While up here by the north, the pioneers were forced to pull back in the face of severe Soviet resistance. Also noting, we are in fact seeing an early tank battalion command up here from Sheepeh, who has a special rifle command as well, though so far utilizes nothing of it, but moves ahead once more with his Dushka.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
MG42 much aggressively set ahead again by Tezting. I would recommend him to perhaps watch the Propagandacast layer and how not to use an MG42 or heavy machine gun overall, of course. And there we go, finding some light machine guns up on the Grenadier, constant charging straight into this mess. And there we go, forced to retreat right there. Moving up the Dushka once more, setting up to support the advance. Suicideme shock troopers leading the way. Overall, a better position of the machine gun compared to Tezting.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Forced to evacuate there. South has fallen, or at the same time we are seeing pioneers being rushed into harass. We see now a sniper all of a sudden on the way for Qvazar and another Grenadier squad. I'm surprised they didn't just go for a mechanized company and just get some panzer grenadiers out, or something similar, like perhaps a flamethrower half tank, or a scout car, just something lower. All again, the pressure's increasing, and again, the lack of forces able to hold this position is increasingly diminished, again, due to the fact that only one player so far really providing any bulk of the infantry. Now we are finally seeing some more panzer guns arriving here for testing. Hopefully these gentlemen will not be upgraded with panzer strikes almost immediately. Time to over to Sheepeh so far. Also, he's actually got penal troops. That's fanciful and interesting. They would also like him to actually utilize the rest of his doctrine. A few light anti-tank guns here and there could prove devastating to break up an early attack, or even, having a heavy mortar could make it difficult for the Germans sort of hold up the defensive position. I mean, there are a lot of options, but they don't really seem to be utilized so far. And certainly, no mines. Come on, gentlemen. Also, you've got the Soviet anti-personnel mines. You really should lay down on... Oh, there we go. Actually putting down some there, but still a lot more mines. Immer mehr Minen. T-34 moving at the first tank has arrived, and we are seeing a support armor co-op for Qvazar. Counter there pushed away with a few casualties. There we go. Lots of mines up. Finally, lovely, lovely. Actually making a bit of use of doctrines. Actually using the use of anti-personnel mines. That is great. That is something I actually rarely see, but again, it is actually quite reasonably useful. Costs very little, and again, can cover quite nicely against infantry. Would also be an idea to actually mine the living snot out of this area using anti-personnel mines, by the way. Shock troopers win the day here against Tezting's Propagandacast. Positions continue to change here. Snipers, be careful. Penal troops are advancing with their SVT-40s. The Soviet semi-automatic rifle of choice. T-34 moving up as well. Coming down and fire there from the Panzerkanone. Sniper firing away. Careful, careful, and we're seeing a bit of artillery going in. It looks like some incendiary artillery. Filled with white phosphorus goodness or some other kind of nasty bits. Possibly just regular phosphor or something else, I don't know. Maybe napalm? Either way, this place is on fire, including the ice. Good job in keeping the T-34 functional and alive, not risking it senselessly. Shock troops here might want to consider pulling back. Also, a half-tech reinforced frontline units would also be a nice thing for Sheepeh to consider. Germans overall having a bit of trouble actually holding much territory for longer periods of time, which is definitely unfortunate.
How can we help? We have a new unit.
Going straight for the fuel point. Nice panzer rush on the T-34, but the T-34 can still do some nasty damage to the grenadiers on the turn. And I still think a heavy mortar would be a lovely choice here for Sheepeh to bombard the fascist foe from afar.
We're under attack.
Altering a bit of trouble keeping connected here with that fuel point. Not too surprising.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Sniper here, a bit reckless by Qvazar. He could easily end up as dead meat if he's not careful.
The new men have arrived.
A sniper on the way for Sheepeh, interestingly enough.
Sniper has arrived.
I figured a sniper or heavy mortar would be a better choice right around here. Could bombard the ice. And overall, keep up the pressure on the Germans that way as well. Panzer's here taking a lot of fire. Not sure why he rushed in that far with little to support them. Looks like he might be able to get them out of there alive. And in return, we do see a Panzerfaust going off there on the T-34. And a Panzer Kampfwagen 4 has rolled out for Qvazar. Duska hold up here by the edge of the cemetery. Doing what he can, getting blasted at. Rather successfully, it would seem, by the mortar. Panzer Kampfwagen soon there to support the front line. And push through for the fatherland. Man engagement up here. Panzer's obviously not going to turn up when it gets all that infantry, particularly against the shock troopers. T-34 out in the ice. Sniper needs to get the hell out of there. Come on, Qvazar. Down. Nicely done there by Sheepeh. Panzer 4 moving in. Careful those T-34 out in the ice. They could become, well, wreckage at the bottom of the lake. Squad there wiped out. That's definitely unfortunate. Tank will owe to Suicideme, who might be trying to save up ultimately for an IS-2, but ultimately right now for the time being he's discarding himself an H-35, the Soviet tank destroyer of choice. Moving up. More incendiary artillery. Right here on the German support position on the ice. Achtung, Panzer 4 there quickly pushed away. Germans haven't got a solo roll gaining ground, but they are doing somewhat alright on the flanks, so it would help them to actually lay down some mines afterwards, sort of help defend the points. Tightening in there against that T-34, might be able to get to the Raketenpanzerbüchse. Though no real success. And there we go, caught in the middle of everything, infantry setting off with anger in their heart zone to get those Panzer Grenadiers. Panzers really should just consider getting out of there. Pack 40, not doing much to really cover up seriously. And out! Don't tell me he upgraded all of his Panzers with Panzerschrecks. Come on, Tezting. Do make an effort. Shock troopers, conscripts advancing. Then he is pulling back. The MD-42 continuing to cover from the ice. An ever perilous position. Again, merging here, lovely job. Constantly merging, good though. Do be sure to repair that Dushka, otherwise it might turn into tiny little bits of shrapnel. But victory points need to be quickly accrued, or taken, in the name of the Reich. Looks like a fresh Panzer war. Let's see how long that lasts before that one's upgraded with the Panzerschreck as well. Slow advance here, slow advance. Panzer 4 not really having much luck in actually doing any damage to the Russians. Peanuts obviously moving up the flank. Panzer 4 might want to focus on them instead. But they largely escape unmolested. And there we go, the the anti-personnel mines go off the PMDs. Killing one poor bastard. Not sure why he's got all in there, Sheepeh. Seems a bit weird.
Ready. The sector has been cut off. Enemy airstrike. Darkly.
Point secured. Looks like some aerial reconnaissance coming in there. Pioneer's getting blasted. And again ahead with the Panzerschrecks right out into the open. Oh, there seems to be like cover from the traitors. That's a post more benefit, but ultimately they're still getting shredded right there by the Dushka. And ultimately that's bad. But we do see a Pack 40 up, although the positioning is much more on the defensive side that I would like, considering their overall positions they need to push forwards. And in that regard, the Pack 43 would have been better around here. Sort of push forwards their advances. So I think that could have been a bit better. Panzer 4 here. Still not really having much luck though. Finally got a few kills there. Need to get repaired. Schnell. So it counter-attacking the south. The Russians are swift to react to the fascist advances. Field guns moving up from Suicideme. Still no sign of the rest of Sheepeh's doctrine. I'm hardly finding that encouraging either. Pioneers versus conscripts there. Dushka forcing away the Grenadier.
Enemy squad attacking.
And that mortar might want to pull back once more, awfully exposed. MD-42 there, far too removed to actually be of any real help. Come on, Tezting. much too timid and defensive play. Oh, good lord, that was a nice button grenade there. Might just saved his life. Might just more incendiary popping in somewhere. And a German howitzer is up. The light defense beat has arrived. And out on the eyes around the Pack 40 and the Pack 43 and the MG42. Nice hit there from the howitzer and over back to Tezting. And time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is the Germans are definitely lagging behind in terms of map control, in terms of victory points, and their forces also looking a bit unsure. In particular, Tezting's overall is a rather skewed force, lacking in any sort of real serious infantry, although they do have some infantry now, but again, you know, too many Panzerschrecks, not enough Sturmgewehr. I feel rather hampers the overall assault effectiveness that Tezting really can get out of it. Also, the way he's actually, you know, not actively supporting it with support units is not really helping either. Never mind, he's also sort of trying to hold up for several points again, which ultimately also divides his attention, in which overall will likely hurt unit preservation. Never mind, he's also throwing resources, and even more fun, he's gone Jaeger armor, and he's clearly going for the Elephant Heavy Tank Destroyer, which again is hardly something I'd call a good sign. That is hardly impressive. As for Qvazar, he's definitely got a much stronger force overall. He's actually got some infantry, he's got the support weapons, he's also got some artillery, he's got the MGs, which he can actually use to support if he so wants, and he's got pioneers, he's got a bit of this and that. And he's got a Panzer as well, though he needs to utilize that actually supporting his infantry, or have his infantry supported. He's using a bit too much on his own, which is not really playing to its strengths. But he's gone joint operations. A good idea for them would actually be to get the officer, pop some smoke in there, but otherwise concentrated fire in conjunction with his infantry would definitely get the most, and in particular the LMG grenadiers would really benefit from it. But they need to secure this strip of land around here. They could try and sort of blast away through here, but that would be rather intensive in casualties. Rather, I think they should sort of try and secure the area around here instead. And Tezting needs to get in a force that can actually attack. He needs to get a much better balanced force. Currently, again, it's rather laden too much towards one side and is rather a bit dysfunctional in some regards, since it can't really do a lot of things a normal force normally would be able to. I mean, he's sort of rather, again, run up and hope, you know, you get unscathed 3 and 5 from rockets, but again, that's only really making him fodder for the Dushka and the tanks, and overall, again, limiting his effectiveness. So there's that for the Russians. You know, Sheepeh would benefit strongly from actually getting a mortar of his own. On the other hand, he's got now a bit more varied force, with a bit more to it if you get that. Oh my goodness, he's floating a ton of munitions! He could easily have been mining the living bejesus out of half the map, so do it, man. Also upgrade this one with the anti-air package, but overall just begin expending some of all those bleeding munitions. Gott im Himmel! That's terrible. That really needs to be worked on. So that is something that also needs to be worked on. Otherwise, I mean, they're still holding on nicely. And Sheepeh is definitely getting some of the best out of his units. He's also making some nice use out of the penal troops, which is lovely, though in some regards he could push on better. They probably should sort of focus more around here, sort of try to apply some damage here, and here they should try and sort of outflank the few German forces that overall are, while having someone sort of soak up a bit the damage that Sheepeh could likely do, perhaps with the mortar or the Dushka. That would definitely cause the Germans here a headache, in particular Tezting, who is again a bit tactically inflexible. And in that regard, again, you know, mines. I mean, they really seem clearly unprepared for mines. A lot of mines around here, and in particular here, could prove absolutely devastating. You should just go nuts with the bigger mines, not just the anti-personnel mines, and that would absolutely drain, I believe, the Germans out before they sort of really make any progress, and which would definitely be a huge advantage to the Soviets, and likely could be the thing that wins them the games. And is to get expending some munitions on mines. Sheepeh. And for Suicideme, you know, IS-2 would do the trick. Just handle it carefully. And of course, in that regard, the impending elephant might prove to be a bit of a problem, but then again, that would also be one of the few cases where an elephant is actually sort of really needed. And might be worth it. Overall, we also see the S-35. The S-35 definitely needs to be handled a bit better as well. he might want to consider utilising some of his forces a bit better and a bit more in conjunction. He might consider also getting a Q3 or some SU-76s to provide auxiliary support for this infantry, which might overall also help them survive a bit longer, since he does seem to be taking a bit of a beating. Also looking here in terms of damage, I mean, Tezting so far somehow managed to do more, but I suspect that's more to do with the panzerstrikes impacting upon the vehicles than anything. Qvazar sort of tailing after a bit for the time being. Sheepeh and Suicideme a bit closer to each other, which I suppose is alright. But overall looking pretty even throughout. So, back to testing and back to the fight. There we go, Vectoring 2, SU-5. No real need to have, that focus sight on. Like that. When you have other units actually spotting for it, that's just a waste of it. Ultimately led to its demise. Elephant tank destroy can be called in, and there we go. Schwerer Panzerjäger bereit. Formed up in 2 heavy tank destroyer battalions on the eastern front. One was eventually sent over to Italy though. Not the primary heavy tank destroyer for the Germans on the eastern front, that was actually the Nashorn, which was considerably less armoured, overall had the same gun. Stuka's also now available to provide support. And Contras are running into a bit of a headache there with the MG42. Full frontal assault here against the village. Meanwhile, T-34 moving in to sort of try and perhaps overcome this Panzer IV on its own. Pack 40 though providing support, and that T-34 is going to go down. There we go, a small victory for Deutschland. Elephant getting spotting scopes. Artillery might soon be firing again as well soon. IS-2 moving up, doing a bit of damage here. Scout car with plenty of penal troops inside operating as well. And I believe that got blasted there by the Pack 43. And apparently, I know it's not entirely sure what he tried to ram there. Either way, didn't work. So of course now they are aware that there's an elephant lurking out in the field. They also know the Germans have an awful lot of heavy anti-tank weapons. They got the Pack 43 and an elephant tank, so that's definitely going to be a bit of a headache that way. At least the possibility of a headache. But again, mines could help a lot. Not sure why he's not sending in some bigger forces to try and clear out this position. He knows it's an MG42, and he also knows it's reasonably well positioned. Also good job then Qvazar actually shifting it so it isn't so easily predictable. And easily outflankable. IS-2 moving in, getting off a nice hit there with his 122mm gun.
Yes.
Panzer gun is moving up. The village is barely standing anymore. At least the centre part of it is. It looks like he's finally overcome the MG42 there by the right hand side, quickly retaking the victory point there. Thus increasing the pressure on the 5th SS Panzer Division Viking, which is hardly any good.
Ready. Elephant here.
The Jagdpanther itself, another heavy tank, so I really didn't see much action on these until February 1945. Overall, it was predominantly as vehicle that saw action on the Western Front, compared to something like the Elephant. The Jagdpanther was also considerably more maneuverable, and overall a much better tank destroyer, although perhaps not quite as tough to deal with frontally. More incendiary artillery. Shock troopers holding up here, coming in that one victory point. It looks like the soldiers spread out sort of cover, interestingly enough.
100 points remaining.
Elephant moving up, tankers holding up the ditch. Duschka continuing to far away, penal troops moving in. These Panzer Grenadier need to get out of there. Come on, Tezting. There we go. Looks like they barely make it out of there. Shock troopers now coming in under the intense effect of the MG42. More grenades moving in, rifle grenades going off. Losses inflicted. Elephant not really seeing much happening. Pack 40 firing away. IS-2 moving in. T-34 moving in. Need to be careful around with that IS-2. Suicideme. And over to Qvazar. Goes and back, take that up to the 4th tier. Wiped out. T-34 there getting blasted nicely by the Elephant. Panzer 4 moving in support as well. Finally, Qvazar perhaps getting a bit more out of his Panzerkampfwagen. Need to be a bit careful, and there we go. Nice hit from the Elephant on the IS-2. Satchel charge against the Panzer 4, and oh, moves too late. Half health there already. Also, shock to a squad with light machine guns. That's a bit dangerous. And a KV-8 out for Suicideme. I would have figured he might be trying to save up for another IS-2, but apparently not. Also, that IS-2 needs to pull back. He ought to be knowing at this stage that he's probably under fire from something from afar. I think that was definitely a bit poorly handled by Suicideme. Poorly handled. But the Germans really need to get moving. They can't really afford to hang about now. Artillery continues to fire.
We've kept the gun from breathing.
Veterans 1 so far. AA mount blasting as well. And incendiary artillery going in. Mines going off. KV-8 out in the ice. With a damaged engine. And looks like a T-34 went down there to the Elephant. Nicely hit there. Panzer 4 arriving. Still no sign of an officer for Qvazar. Still no sign. Another kill. For once, an Elephant that actually killed something. Impressive. Well, that was damn close. Oh no, he turned away. Why did you turn away from it? Oh no, Tezting. And now his Elephant is in a dire situation. It's got focus sight on. It's getting flanked. And there you go, but already there with it. Oh, heavy engine damage. Heavy engine damage. That is bad. And a Veteran 2 T-34 firing away with increased rate of fire, even increased damage. That is hardly good news. Field guns firing away. The T-34 needs to pull away. Pull away. Pull away. That's a Pack 40 ready to support. There we go. Field guns bombarding. Panzer 4 closing in on Veteran G2. T-34, get it out of there, Sheepeh, get it out of there. 7 victory points left as well. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's ramming. Oh. At the same time, a Stuka strike went in, knocking out one of the 2 field guns. Trying to repair here. Tracking could be utilized. Artillery going in as well. Panzer 4 desperately dragging itself out of the fight point there, barely helped. Forces moving in swiftly with the KV-8 with an engine damage. Oh, Elephant went down. About time, I suppose. And a field barrage knocking out the pack. Another T-34 pushed in for Sheepeh. Pack 40 there wiped out. Not sure why he's not focusing on the victory point. There we go. And the smoke grenade. Well played there. Suicideme. Well played. Veteran 2 on the howitzer and another Elephant tank to strike for Tezting. And there we go. Veteran 2 on the Panzerkampfwagen Fierce shitting that up. Grenadiers in a bit of trouble, getting burned up alive. And oh, squad arrived out, but almost the Grenadiers, but shock troops almost there. By the time they make it, the Communists seem to have taken the shot. Panzer IV slowly trundling ahead. They need to hold that victory point no matter the cost. If that gets taken, that is likely going to be GG, although at the same time this one is all of a sudden open. Germans want to continue to that, and over to Sheepeh. Still no real sign of using his doctrine besides one douche and a few anti-personnel mines. More artillery bringing across the village. Elephant tanks are moving in as though this was a tank. Oh, there we go. Nice hit on the T-34. And down by the hand of the Panzer IV.
We are suffering vehicle losses.
Losses are getting heavy for the Russians at the moment. Sheepeh has been absolutely worn down. A satchel charge right down the Elephant. But they themselves are getting blasted to bits, and there we go, wiped out by the Panzerkampfwagen. More infantry rushing ahead. They might be getting reckless. They probably should have stayed focused on this point farther away, but again, the Russians seem to be a bit of a fan here of their bash your head into a wall approach, the most dangerous of approaches. In particular, since they're rather feeling they can get away with it, they can afford it. Since again, they've only got 7 weeks to one left, which means they don't have to hold long. But again, they're not considering what if they can't even take it in the first place because they're being reckless. And now, of course, the Germans are taking advantage to take back the other point as well, ensuring they now for once have all 3 victory points. And that howitzer is just an utter menace. And Sheepeh by now has more or less been utterly crippled. Field gun at the front line, and we're seeing an immediate response there. Looks like some light artillery in. And dead. And still floating a ton of munitions. Come on, Sheepeh, don't be so sheepish.
Upgrade complete. T-34 crew loaded and ready. Enemy troops.
Panther moving ahead. Looks like he's taken up the big Panzer Corps here, Mr. Qvazar. That's definitely going to be a bit of a nightmare there for the few remaining Soviet tanks. Also, no idea why I went for another K-8 again. He probably should have had more effort. He would have had more benefit, I think, from another eye. Soon they go trying to ram the Panther. A bit of a reckless maneuver. Ultimately, only results in the crew being shocked a bit. Ach du lieber, we were rammed. How terrible. Thankfully, we're all safe.
We have lost one
So
of
das
our
ist
armored
gut.
vehicles.
Ja. Fresh artillery barrage right there. Being rather bold there with the Elephant, Mr. Tezting.
T-34 standing by. We took it. Yes, comrade.
Remaining shattered Soviet forces muster for a fresh movement. Some forces holding up in the north, and there's still an MD-42. Looks like they might be trying for the far-away victory point. A nice idea, but again, at this stage, a little too late, to be honest. They should have been doing that much earlier on. That they probably could have won the game, but again, they got concerned with trying to blast away through here. Instead, met bloody murder and disappointment. I'm not sure why they had to take the route closest to the enemy's line instead of taking one a bit farther away, which will allow them to creep up. Barely holding up here. Panzer's not doing too well either. The base is getting bombarded by the elephant and its high velocity 88mm gun.
Man down! Units awaiting orders.
Now calling in a Duska all of a sudden. And there go T-35 counting the Panther. The Panzerkampfwagen 5. Keeping a respectful distance there, it would seem. And the elephant finishes off. Veterans, he won.
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles. The enemy has cut off a sector.
And a Stuka strike there, wiping out the remaining field gun the Soviet has on the field at the moment. Or it looks like another one has arrived to replace.
Vishka HMGs are ready to deploy.
Taking fire!
This is largely GG, so might as well speed things up.
Enemy tank firing on us!
Enemy contact! Enemy forces are capturing our supplies. Contact!
By base getting bombarded there by the artillery. And there we go, game over, a loss to the Soviets. Despite having a strong start, they encountered some rather serious problems in the play again, partly because, Sheepeh really, didn't play as best as he could. I mean, clearly, he had a ton of munitions, and he really absolutely just blew any opportunity to really sort of utilize it. Again, note sort of overall how quickly, then after that point, by the mid-game, has lagged behind the Germans. I mean, clearly, there have been some massive problems. Then again, he should have mined a lot more, but it never happened. Overall, he made poor usage of his doctrine. Again, a pair of these and some of these, and overall nothing else. Not good at all, not good at all. He could have used slight anti-tank guns, semi-mortars, tank types, everything else. He could have made it a lot harder for the Germans to do anything, but he failed to do so, and that I think was in larger part, part of their loss, since ultimately that rather resulted in Sheepeh having to carry more of the fight. Although of course Sheepeh could have, or Suicideme could have done perhaps a bit more with his doctrine as well. Though overall he did do more, but again I feel partly some of those KV8s later on were a bit of a waste. He should have had more IS-2s out and probably should have had them supported by the Air-5. So again, that was some problems there. Also the way he engaged the elephant really didn't help him out. Some problems there also he could have done with more mines overall as well. For the Germans, I mean, it was Qvazar sort of really largely carrying the fight, I felt, Tezting sort of, lagging behind several times, the lack of infantry really hurting them in the beginning. That's really the primary reason why they had so much trouble there. No real mines either. The sort of emphasis on using, tank the Jaeger armor, but only getting it really for the elephant. Perhaps a few Stuka strikes here, though. Again, that's sort of the sort of stuff I usually actually discard a replay on. In fact, I only cast this one because for once the elephant sort of did something. Otherwise, I pretty much don't bother with those replays where I really have to watch someone go Jaeger armor and again make a poor bloody choice of it. And pretty much all of them that go for it do it. So again, that's one reason why again I don't see a lot of 2 vs 2s. And then again, this perhaps was not the best one, but overall, I mean, I'm just not seeing a lot of good 2 vs 2s. This was really the best one in a long time, so hopefully that satisfies those who have been asking me for the 2 vs 2 for some time. I mean, I wish I had something better, but so far, I mean, there's nothing really. The overall Qvazar made good use of his doctrine. I would have liked to see the officer, but overall good use of his doctrine, good use of the howitzer. The Pack 43 could have been better placed, I would say. Got good use of infantry, good use of the tank, actually keeping his Panther 4 alive for so long, not wasting it like I see so many other players do. Panther was an interesting choice, though overall not really vital, nor was the Austrian Flak Panzer, but still nice to see. Tezting needs to actually get some infantry early on. Not really very impressive use of the Panzers early on. Much too quick to get Panzerx on them, thus limiting their effectiveness against the early infantry. And again, overall, not utilizing support weapons very strongly either. I mean, there were a lot of flaws I rather felt there in Tezting's play, and it was not always that entertaining to watch. At least I personally felt, though of course people might disagree with me, and of course they are free to do so, but I do feel that Tezting has a lot of room for improvement. because I think, you know, he could have done a lot more, and certainly could have done a lot more to ensure the Germans weren't such in a perilous situation right at the beginning of the game. So there I felt were rather some problems. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned a few things. I hope you were inspired to perhaps try out some new things. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying